I'm giving myself an out, just so you're aware of it, that commission isn't set in stone in case I'm the person, so, yeah.
Well, it's set in stone for all the other
For everyone
agents,
else,
but
correct.
you're telling them, you know, hey, other agents, just to be fair, if I bring a
If
buyer,
I
I'm
bring a
gonna,
buyer, he's
Right.
gonna make more money.
Right.
he's gonna make more money, which gives me an advantage, right?
Yeah, so I won't go sue that guy and say, well, hey, you had that genocide as well.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's,
Question,
mm-hmm,
he's undercutting the commission by what percentage? Well, we don't know.
we don't know.
Okay,
We
well,
just know.
let's say
Typically.
1% maybe.
Mhm.
So that's what, 100, that's what?
10
What is
Well,
1% of
10
a
grand.
million?
Yeah, yeah.
10 grand?
Mhm.
Okay, so as a realtor, I can write that in, that, buyer agrees to pay 10,000 over list price or whatever. I mean, you could tell your buyer, look, there could be another offer from this broker, but the lister, do you wanna beat it?
I don't think I'd go there unless
No?
the signs were there.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
And honestly, in the last year, I have sold one of my own listings. I have been doing a lot of business, so I could
Okay.
maybe done more, but it doesn't happen very often.
All right.
It just doesn't happen.
How
So-
old is this house?
This house was built,
80s? Like 30, 40 years old?
1980.
Okay.
So, and then the other thing too, what I see all the time is, you know, we try to get the 6%, right? But everything's negotiable, and then they negotiate, okay, 5%. Try 5.5 before you go 5. It just seems to be the norm, but I'm not really sure why. Okay, so when you're showing this to your clients, you wanna make sure they understand how to make pictures bigger, so they can enjoy them, and you can put up to 30 pictures here. So, it's gonna give you a great idea, so here.
It is really private,
So because it
Yeah,
backs up
That's
to the
lovely.
Makawao.
So is that up in like
I could be
Olinda?
happy there.
The Mount
Yeah,
Carmel
it's
Reserve up
in,
in Olinda?
Makawao, it would be Makawao, but
it is,
it's like having a green belt.
it's in
Yeah,
Olinda.
Okay, yeah, cause the reserve's up in
Up
Olinda.
above, yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly what it is.
Alright,
Isn't that nice?
Olinda's beautiful.
Yeah,
but
it
the
is.
address is Makawao?
No, it's a,
We had-
I think
It's a
in
10-minute
Olinda.
drive to Makawao is what it said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
Olinda's right above Makawao.
So, Mr. Seller, your baby grand would look beautiful in this house.
I love all the lighting.
Yeah.
Well, the open beam, and he didn't jack up the wood either, right?
And for being from the 80s, it doesn't look dated, you know?
It looks like it's well maintained.
Yeah,
So
well
that's
maintained, for
impressive,
sure.
because we wanna know that they've been taking care of
Kind of
things.
nice open floor plan.
I'm
Yeah.
nervous
Oh, I
to keep showing
love
the
it.
same room, that make me tired. Let's see the rest now. Okay, there you
Updated,
See, that's nice.
It's definitely-
For being from the 80s.
Yeah, it's been updated
Yeah.
a little
go.
bit.
They've done something.
That's a nice cool upstairs.
so if there's a fireplace, chances are, what's the elevation?
Oh,
Does
it
say?
gets cold.
It doesn't, but it gets cold. It even has a
Yeah.
furnace. There's a furnace.
It's probably at least 3,500,
Oh.
not more.
For $1 million, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And the type of
that's
acreage you get,
a buy,
Yeah.
that's definitely a buy.
2 acres.
Yeah, that's totally a good buy.
Look
God,
at
this
the
is the Ohana, because remember they said the Ohana
Oh,
has
Oh,
a
really?
wood
Oh,
stove.
has a wood burning stove?
Yeah. So
Okay,
they
we
have
have a house.
family.
House
Yeah.
house.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
How big is the Ohana?
1,300 square
bedrooms.
feet.
Yeah.
How many square feet?
1,300.
Wow, that's huge.
I know.
So think of the rent
It's a house.
you could
It's
get.
a house,
Think of the
yeah.
rent you
It
could
is
get.
2 for 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Does he have a, does he have,
1232.
okay,
Oh.
so, do they have a listing, do they have a record of rental income from it?
We don't know.
Yeah, we have to call and ask.
Mm-hmm.
Might be in the,
It'll be, I mean,
what's
we can get that. It's
the
not.
HT.
Yeah,
what
it
that is.
it probably isn't, actually, that's not good. This is the tax record, this is the history. This is the map, this is.
Seller pays GDT.
The real estate.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
That would be on
because-
the rental income though, would it?
No, the GET's
on
on
the
our
sales.
That's,
income.
that's the GT on your commission.
On our commission, they're paying it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna look at that one for these people, so I'm gonna click right here, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I have now, if I go back here in the far right,
Uh-huh.
it goes back to this, right?
Uh-huh.
So, for our purposes, we're gonna walk through everything, but
All right.
I'll show you this in a minute. Okay, so our second one is $1,050,000. They've reduced it $50,000. It's been on the market for 136 days. 1,632 square feet, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square feet in the Ohana. It was built in 2006,
And where is it?
half an acre.
In Longwell,
Yeah, it is, I
Maui
think
Uplands.
that is, Makawao. Maybe, no, it's Kula, is it my Kula?
It says
Upland?
Makawao
Upland
Estates.
Estates. Yeah, yeah,
Where does it say that?
yeah, right here, subdivision, Upland Estates, Maui Uplands, right here.
So that's where,
Yeah, it's in Kula.
in Kula,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Ideally situated on the slopes of Haleakala, meticulously maintained, the executive style home, offering one of the strongest values, blah, blah. Over a half-acre lot. Yeah. Craftsman quality, et cetera, et cetera. The realtor remarks are, cottage is tenant occupied, available to show on second showings only. Owner occupied, advance notice to show required. Buyer and their agents must independently verify any information they deem material. Da, 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 da. Sometimes people put that in when they just don't have much else to say, but it's, good information. So it's 2.5% offered to the buyer's agent, and yes, they will pay GET, that's getting more and more normal, which is great. And let's just whip through these pictures, go through everyone this way. You can see they have PV, that's added value.
Does that thing say whether it's leased or owned?
You have to find out.
Okay.
Wow, it pales in light of the value of the first one.
I know, it's like, wow, I
Mhm.
Because
can't,
you've got neighbors on 3 sides.
not even fenced.
I know,
Yeah,
Location.
but it is a newer home,
yeah.
but some people like that cooler weather,
And the privacy.
yeah.
You can wait time. Oh, you guys are comfy, right?
Yeah.
When I came in, it said it's 79, it was so hot.
Oh, no. What have you got?
Somebody goofy.
Why do no paint rooms lavender? I don't know. No, not
That's a
good.
nice,
Garage.
Garage, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, so.
I
Nice
must have
little
not
home.
known enough.
so unfortunately, I mean,
We like it, though,
curb
right?
appeal, there's the Ohana, right? That's the Ohana, right?
I think that's the house. Maybe not. No, that's gonna be the house, cause the Ohana is only 700 square feet.
Well, it doesn't have a lot of curb appeal.
But like you said, you never know until you go
I
inside, because it
know.
might be in the sweetest
I'm
neighborhood, it might
telling
be the
you.
right location,
I
you just
learned
never
that
know.
Oh,
Okay, so this isn't gonna, well, this came up, but it's not gonna, this is Ohikai, which is literally right
Literally
here.
this road.
Yeah, right up here, so this is an investment type of thing, and, interesting. I'm just curious.
I know, I
Yeah,
wanna
it's
see what the
1200
property
square
is for
foot
each
lot.
house it is.
Oh, I don't
Ooh,
know,
that's
what was that
awesome.
one?
They didn't even show the house.
That's nice looking.
Yeah.
It's
So-
circled, pie-shaped lot.
Mhm.
Oh, it's right on the street.
Okay,
right
so it's across the street, it's not up here, it's
Yeah,
down
lower.
below.
Lower.
So this is where you would turn left to go to South Point, or, you know, so. Now you guys saw me, right? You saw me turn my phone ring down all the way, it just won't stick.
It blocks.
Sounds like a Google product.
I think I know exactly.
It's
what
virtually a
property
block
it
from the ocean.
is. How much are they asking for?
Yeah, I think I know this one's 1.2 or something. 1.25.
It looks like,
It looks like
It's
2
pretty big.
houses too.
Yeah,
Portion.
it
Three bedroom,
is
one
one
bath.
point 249, 61 days on the market. And it says investors dream 3 homes on approximately 16,000 square foot lot. Built in 49, remodeled in 16, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And So
3 homes,
there's a couple things. It's
That's
3
rental.
homes,
that's rental income.
yeah.
And rent free, all three is 7,000 a month. Wow.
Holy
Mhm.
cow.
So, an investor's dream, okay? So if somebody, when I sit down and I'm talking to a buyer, I draw a big circle, and I'm going, here's, this is a big old pie, it represents how you're feeling. How much of this pie is your investment decision? How much of your pie is lifestyle? And you know, so that you get a sense of where they're at. I have a real investor mentality, this is exciting.
Yeah.
However, if the biggest and most important thing to me was that I lived in a beautiful, quiet neighborhood, and I probably wouldn't wanna buy an Ohukai down there,
Yeah,
cause
no way, it's too
it's
busy.
funky,
It's busy.
it can be funky, right?
I don't know.
One of my kids lived on Ohukai, just half a block off Kihei Road, and it was in a flag lot, so that was really nice, but you know, it's just, and there's some trash stuff around, all that kind of stuff, so, you know, you gotta just figure that out.
Location.
Right.
That just doesn't happen, location.
Now, if they told you that they wanted something and this was the only thing they could afford, even though you didn't think it was really right for them, you might turn that into an opportunity to give them more market knowledge. Take them to see, this is what you're gonna get for this price. So in other words, if you want, we're gonna have to adjust, or you're gonna have to give up something. So, realistic. So let's say this one, we're gonna say, you know, they have little kids and they look calm, you know, if they could, they live in the country, so. And again, remember I asked for South Maui, I didn't ask for just Maui Meadows, I did that
Right.
cause I'm gonna make sure I
I'll
don't
see
show
this
you.
weekend, yeah.
So it's not in Maui Meadows, so I'm not marking this one and I'm just gonna move on.
So an investor might consider that neighborhood might clean up in time.
Oh yeah, who
Right.
cares, if you're gonna rent it out and we need rentals,
So you're making that much
I-
in
you
rental
know,
income?
you gotta, you know, make sure everything is legal and above, because sometimes if they've done things without permits,
That's your problem with Maui Meadows. I mean,
that's your problem with everything.
thin lines.
So yes, but doesn't Maui Meadows also have problems with just, what's the word, easements? Maui Meadows
Yeah.
is just funky with, that's what I was looking for, thank you.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
you know, they're big lots, so they've done a lot of
Yeah,
interesting
that's
creative
exciting
things, yeah, for sure. Here's, in Kula, so this fits the bill, 1.295, been on the market 34 days. And you notice, we're not seeing a lot that's been on the market for a really long time,
Yeah.
because,
Not yet.
you know, that was a good idea to add Ohana, cause it really, you know, narrows it down, and the good ones, they go.
Yeah.
So, this is Upper Kula, it was built in 1990, first time they've sold it, kind of interesting. 2,200 square feet with a 700 square foot lot. So, at a glance, I'm gonna say, yeah, this is good, so I don't,
You said the lot was 700?
no, the Ohana,
Oh, okay.
It looks
Mhm.
big.
How big is the lot, half acre?
the lot is,
Too.
half an acre up here, 22,860,
Oh, there we
a little over half an acre,
Okay.
that's for the whole property.
Yeah.
And then 2,200 on the regular house, 712 on the other. So, again, if I'm doing this, I probably, you know, we're digging in a little bit, but we just look at some general stuff and then throw it in the pile, and then as you go and dig deeper, once you've, you know, narrowed that down. So, let's see what we got going on here, so it's interesting. You know, sometimes I'm looking through these pictures and I have if you have an idea of kind of flavor or feeling they're looking for, you can go, oh man, that's a really big open living room, that's
Yeah.
really important to so-and-so.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I just kind of whip through the pictures, I'm not spending a massive time at this point, cause this is just my first go around. And again, someone else is gonna tell you something different, we all do things a little differently. Very dated style, but beautiful woodwork.
It's totally empty, unfortunately. Like, it's not showing well, if you ask me,
Yeah,
consequently. Kinda like,
staging can really make a difference.
yeah,
You need to leave it simple enough so that they can imagine their own things inside, but to just
But
warm
now,
it up
yeah.
a little bit. I like the way they're sitting on the property though, it's kinda cool. I like this one, don't you?
it's kind of missing
Small
something for
kitchen.
me.
Well, depending on what you wanna do with that Ohana, it has its own separate everything, which
That's
is really
nice.
cool.
It
Yeah,
seems kind of geometric to me.
yeah,
I think I'm having trouble with it not being staged.
yeah, well,
That, you know, I'm I'm not looking at it as a realtor, I'm looking at it as a buyer,
Right.
you know, am I in your
When
way?
you have a real,
I'm good.
client,
you're
you're
okay.
gonna be looking through their eyes,
Huh?
right? When you have a real client, you'll be looking through their eyes.
Yeah, you'll have a real understanding too.
Yeah.
What's the address on that, do you know? Like that, but
It is 1065 Ahu Road, which is the
Oh,
same
no,
road
no.
that the first one.
That, no, that is the first
Oh,
one.
that is the first one.
Yeah.
I think you went to the ones that you liked.
not that.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
you
no.
pressed on the check mark and it went to the ones you like, yeah. Cause there's only showing 2 and it's the huge black.
So when I do that by accident? is
Yeah,
that-
you click.
So I'll go back. Ah. And then this arrow, take it back.
Well, you know what I think I don't like the kitchen on that was third
A
one.
tiny kitchen, yeah, for the size of the home.
It didn't have a,
Tight.
well, it looked like a big valley kitchen without a backside.
Is that it?
Yeah,
What's
that's
the address on that?
Polomakani Drive, 105 Polomakani Drive,
Okay.
Waiakoa Farms.
Uh-huh.
But again, remember,
Yeah.
you have to look through their eyes, so, and
How
you-
big is the Ohana?
It was 700.
But it looks so big on the.
ooh, here's a pretty one in Mount Meadows for
Oh,
1.4.
With one bedroom,
With an Ohana?
All of these have an Ohana.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
this is
I know, I keep
beautiful.
asking, I'm like, really?
That's
I
beautiful.
can't believe it, that landscaping's gorgeous,
I
oh
like
my
this
gosh.
one, yep,
Yeah, see, this is rocking,
way better. Look at that kitchen.
it's well staged, it's completely well staged.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a second,
So
that
it's
looks
really-
handicap friendly to me. Oh,
Ocean view.
Nice. Hi, come on
Beautiful
in.
backyard. Hi.
Looking for Nicole?
Who?
Cool.
Is there any Nicole here?
Nicole?
Yeah.
Might be.
Yes, actually it's 205.
Oh, five.
No, this is 205. It's
201.
the door on this side of 201, down at the end.
Alright, here.
I like this property.
it's very pretty, that
See, this is a
yellow,
beautiful home and, this view, I've seen this.
have you walked through it?
No.
No.
You seen it though? So let's see, what is the,
So it is 2280 square feet on about a half acre, and a 1 bedroom, 1 bath for 695 square feet. Okay, so we're definitely keeping that one.
That's going for 1.4, yeah.
Yep.
that's nice.
Yeah.
There's
How old
another
was that
in
one?
Kula.
1.4.
We'll go back later,
All right.
because yeah,
Okay.
we can't, this isn't the time to
Okay.
dig in.
Alright,
This is the time to go
Yeah, you
through and
dig in.
eliminate,
Yeah.
and then you go back through.
okay, and then you go for the detail,
Mhm,
got it,
mhm.
like,
So this, I think, will definitely, you know, and I wanted to do that for a couple of them, but we don't have to. Once we get our list down, then that looks very cool. Here's another Maui Meadows, it's 1.55, market 32 days. Nice, we definitely want that one. We found a couple nice ones. They're,
At that price point, I
Meadows,
hope so.
yeah, here's another Maui Meadows, so that kinda tells us too, you know, our price. Ocean, oh, and I neglected to put Ocean View, that would have really narrowed it down, let's say it's not, that'd be nice, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, that was just.
yeah,
request.
I think,
Yeah.
I think,
One of the things I like to do
Yeah.
from a strategy standpoint is, so this is kind of what they said for a price range, but then I like to do another
Look at
search
that
at a different range, just so that they've got, you know, like we set a
Uh-huh.
bottom limit of 900, right? For all you know, there could be a steal for 700 that we're excluding just because we didn't take the bottom, right?
Yeah, when
So-
they set a
so-
bottom line of 1 million, that's why I'm
Right.
looking down to
Right.
9.
No, I agree,
And I
so
might,
that's
I might
big.
even look even less, except for I know,
That's-
unless they wanna fix it. Yeah.
uh-huh,
But we could go back and jump in there and see anything under, I'll change that in a minute. This is, North Kihei Road, so we don't want that, cause we know you're interested in Maui Meadows on south.
That's nice. Is that the Ohana on the right, I mean on the left?
Yeah, come
I
on.
think so, yeah.
Oh, I know this
Bedroom, 1
house.
bath, 600
Yeah.
square foot Ohana.
Yeah, I know
Oh, yeah,
this
it's
one.
right off
5
Waikui
bedrooms
Lani.
and
Yeah.
3.5 baths. 3,000 square feet.
We don't want that though, cause they don't want Kihei Road. There, this might work. We're getting up there, 1.7, 96 days on the market. Interesting, that's the longest market time we've seen. That starts to tell us a little bit of a story. Maybe it's a little overpriced, hard to say. It is a half an acre,
It does.
2,600 square foot with a 500 square foot ohana. Take in the captivating 5-island views from Molokai to Molokini.
Minnow was my classmate.
Yeah, you know, it's the view, that's what's gonna
Yeah.
really make the difference.
Yeah, views really,
Meadow.
really make a difference. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here in a minute. Which one are we on? We're on number
12.
Oh, that's
12.
pretty.
Okay, we're almost there. Oh, that's beautiful.
Check that off right now.
Okay, well, and 1.8, you know, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So you can see that within this group, having this kind of a spread, they're going to be able to
Maui Meadows.
get a really good sense of what you get for what. And if they need to be at that lower end and be satisfied, or just simply have to spend more money. Kupalau Drive, that's a great spot, 1.920, it's been on the market 172 days. So it doesn't necessarily also mean that it's overpriced, but the higher the price,
Gone
The
luxury.
lower
the smaller the buyer pool, so fewer people whose needs will be met, because they,
Plus, it's 6 bedrooms. How many
Yeah.
people want 6
Two.
bedrooms?
6-bedroom and then 2-bedroom, that's 1170 square feet, let's look at the pictures.
Oh, the Ohana's big,
Yeah.
that's a 2-for-1.
That's cool though, wow.
Wow,
Look at
oh
that.
my gosh,
goodness.
that's
Now
so,
that's
that is gorgeous.
This is in Maui Meadows.
That, who's the photographer? I want his.
Oh, I know this house actually. I
You
drive by
do?
this. I drive by this one.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I do too, it's
Oh,
on,
since
it's
all
on
day
this side of
drinking,
the
this is the
street,
one
it's
I
got all
want.
the
This is
fruit
the one I
trees.
Wait,
Yeah.
where's this located?
It was listed,
And
it's on
Maui Meadows.
Kupalau.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it too, I've been on.
You know the
this
house.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I've been there.
I want this house.
That was for sale last year.
So it's
It
just been on the
was.
market for a while.
Yeah,
They probably pulled it off and relisted.
Okay. Like
Beautiful,
fresh
open.
Mhm.
on that kitchen.
I know, that's something.
Well, no, they've got granite tile and not solid slab, you know, it's like, no, why would they do that? How many kitchens are there?
That was
That was the Ohana.
Yeah,
Smaller. That's what I was.
It's a cool layout, cool driveway.
That's
Look at the
nice.
drive. I mean, a drive
Yeah.
like that at Maui Meadows is no joke. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's serious.
Yeah. that's got a great view.
1.9.
Yeah.
It's well staged.
Yeah.
Oh, and a pool?
Yeah.
Colorado
No.
also
Now you're
Meadows.
talking.
Oh my gosh,
The pool.
1.9, and this is Maui Meadows too.
Oh, Carla drop.
Now, just so you
that's a good
know,
lap pool.
that could be a deal killer. Many people do not want pools.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a great thing when
They
you
don't
list a
like the
house that has a
And
pool. It can be a part.
Like 2.1.
I have to have a pool. That's
Yeah,
not
there
my
you go,
business.
see, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Live
is
favorite
2.1.
Maui Meadows.
Yeah, so
What's the square footage? It's
And
less. it's
29,
less.
28 square feet, 700 square foot. And 3/4 of an acre.
So what's making it so much more than the other one and less bedrooms and square footage?
Hard to say, could be the expansive view.
How old is this baby?
1990.
Okay,
Oh, I've been here,
been there?
yeah, it's with the red door, yeah.
Oh wait, I walked through that house.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was on the
Caravan,
caravan, yeah.
Look at the jacuzzi, oof.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
this
cool.
one has a
Oh,
pool
yes.
too.
Interesting
Wow.
colors.
Yeah.
Interesting
Wow.
colors.
No, the colors are amazing.
Oh, really? See, I hate
But,
those.
no, I'm telling you, no,
You
I
never
know. They're only gonna appeal to so many people.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing neutral about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's all over the page for
But
color.
it's the colors are fun.
Sure, you have to have vision, right?
Yeah, but the living room is.
Now,
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
one of the, I'm a, you know,
Yeah, I think
I'm a-
you'll like her, yeah.
so I still have to fight the urge to comment.
Oh.
Otherwise, you put your foot in your mouth because what you go, ooh, is something they love.
Right, right.
Right.
I know, I
You
would
know
get,
Asia beware.
wanna be their friend, you know, tell them what's real, but
Well,
they're also the client.
sometimes
Yeah.
just,
Like I,
you could say amazing colors, you haven't said you liked it or hated it, you said it amazing.
So let's say that they don't need the, it's just too big for them, they don't want anything this big, plus it's out of the price range. And so we're not gonna check that. So now, let's say we've gone through them all, we've checked several, so I'm gonna go up here and check this green box. Again, you were gone, but if you check it by accident, you can go next door and take it back. So now, if I go back, I've got it down to just these, right? So that's 11,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Out of the 15.
That's 11 out of the 15.
So then we would go in and modify again, like bring it down to maybe, like you said earlier, under 10 is good.
Well, to show them, this would be, this would be good to send them or meet with them to discuss.
Oh, okay, and then you
Go
would
over it.
clarify, okay.
Right, so that you can, go through
This
and
is
figure
exciting.
out. So let's say we're sitting with them and we're looking at these and they go, oh, those are all really beautiful, but I thought I'd have to spend more money to get what I want. So let's just focus on the ones at 1.6 and under. So then I'll check those. And now I've got it down to 7 because
Okay.
they've gone, wow, this is exciting. Because if we only spend 1.5 and 1.6, then we have a little money left over to make custom changes that might be important, or changes that you need to make if something's not quite right. And then you're gonna
That one. I really like that deal.
at this point in time, I would probably, everybody does things differently, and I hate to be a tree killer, but I would print those out, and I would sit down with your highlighter, and I would walk through, of course, you're looking through the lens of your buyer, so it's before you're with them, and just make some notes, and figure out, what the deal is there.
Are you gonna make notes on the sheet there, or where?
I do, so,
Yeah.
for instance, when I print them out, you go up here to the print thing, and I'll go print, and this says save as PDF, which you could, but I would not, I would just print it. And it's gonna print out that way, right? I'm gonna cancel this. So then I'm also gonna go in when I'm making up their packet, and I'm gonna print, oopsie, excuse me.
Is this the view you like?
Cancel. Yeah, that's the view that I usually use. Yeah, that is the view that I.
With the map.
I'm gonna go print plus, which gives me the option to change the reports. So instead of print, if you just wanna print what you're looking at, print plus gives you other opportunities. You can do more than one at a time. So let's say I've already printed mine, but now I'm getting ready for the tour, so I'm gonna remove the agent one, and then I'm gonna go
Yeah, that's the one I use.
that one.
That's the one I use.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say, okay, let's print that. So then it's gonna generate. So you can see the difference here, just quickly. It's the same listing, but none of the other agents' information is on it. And the realtor remarks are not part of this. So this is the form that I use to send to my clients. Okay? So then you can print all of those out. I'm a big one on highlighters.
Me too.
I give them a pen and I give them a highlighter, I give them those, so when we're cruising around in the car, doing our thing, well, one thing I like to do, and it's a lot of fun, but it actually serves a very important purpose, memory retrieval system, if you will, is that I tell them we're gonna name the houses, right? And that can be pretty funny. Keep it as short as you can, Stinky cat comes to mind. Or there's usually something, now in the beginning, sometimes they'll go, okay, house with a pool, I'm like, no, that won't work, there's lots of houses with pools. So we walk through and keep in mind, and so then we're gonna write the name of the house on it, And the reason we do that is because if we just say 742 Kupalo, you know,
That is a great
Kupalo
images.
compared to, you know, Abu Road, oh my gosh, and they're going, huh? But Stinky Cat compared to Amazing Loft comes
Right.
right up in their head. And then you can discuss. I always tell people, it's like old boyfriends, right? If I could just pick the best part of this one and this one and this one, wouldn't it be great? Same thing with houses. You know, there's, take a little, this part of this house, a little part of that house, and you put it all together, and it's just what you want.
That's a perfect guy.
Right, right.
Frank and girlfriend is one of these.
Mhm. So, on page 16, it shows about preparing to show homes. So, look at the showing instructions on the MLS to schedule the show time. So that's relating to the realtor remarks where it says you must have an appointment or easy to show on lockbox or call agent or whatever it is. So you need to know what that is. Always call the listing agent, see if the home is available and if there have been any offers. Super important. After you show it, if there is interest, but they haven't made a decision to pull the trigger, and you're gonna call back and say, if you do have an offer coming, will you let me know because they're considering it. I wanna make sure I have a chance to get in there as well. Set the home tour date with your buyer with a specific start and end time. In the beginning, you know, it's kind of funky because you're going, oh, I don't know how long it's gonna be in between. When you first work with a buyer, you don't know if they're gonna walk through and go,
Right.
okay? Or they're gonna walk in and go, I would never buy this house in a million years, and then they'll proceed to look through every closet and
Oh, yeah.
it's bizarre, but that does happen. So the first time out, there's some variables that you're not sure about, right? So you need to just add plenty of time. If it needs to be, oftentimes I do like 20 minutes in between if they're not all over done.
Do you recommend maybe for the first showing, maybe just shrink down the amount of houses you're showing, or like maybe just do 2 or 3 that day so that you get a sense of their style? Or,
No, I think I'd only shrink that if it was a time issue
okay.
or like that. Yeah, probably not. Usually, it's interesting, you can get down, and so you have a time here and a time there. Occasionally you have to go back and say, oh, can I move it to that? Because somebody can only let you in at a certain time, or they need to meet you. But, you know, you can figure that out. And then when there's gaps, there's always stopping for coffee, there's lunch. There's, oh, let me take you up to Gannon's and show you this beautiful view and give you an idea of the Wailea area, because you've shown interest, or up to the top of Maui Meadows if you're here in Kihei. So there are other things that you can do. It's uncomfortable, right? Because you're trying to, you know, juggle the timing, but you just kind of go about it and the tour comes together. Sometimes easier than others. Let's see. Try to get 24-hour notice if possible. That's really true. You know, we get busy and we wait till the last minute, but honestly, if I can give somebody 3 or 4 days notice, they sure love that. So sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. You just give as much notice as you can. Check with your buyer to make sure they have earnest money ready if necessary. So if they are here on island, then, you know, and they're coming, make sure you bring your checkbook. People don't carry their checkbooks around with them any longer. So that's pretty important. If they're on the mainland, they may be just wiring money. And so you get instructions for them to wire money. If you get a deal, you put it in escrow and where it's gonna go, you'll get their instructions. Preview the homes and eliminate any that don't meet their criteria, because when you show up, as good as these look, you don't really know, right? And it'd probably be fun for you to cruise by these houses to get a sense of what's going on versus what it puts out.
So does preview mean just drive by, or does it mean actually go in before them and
Well, it could be a drive-by, but an actual preview, you'd actually go in through the house. So
Okay.
then you'd call and say, hey,
Uh-huh.
seller's agent, my people are gonna be in town in about a week and a half, and, they have some specific, very specific needs, so I would like to come through.
Do you personally do that?
I do that when I can.
Okay.
I do that when I can. The other thing that I do, and I love to do, and I really recommend you do it,
Yeah.
because, I like to drive the route and at least go by the house, rather than visiting with them, trying to play grown up, and nervous about where you're going. Not that, now we have, you know, GPS, which is great, which is so great. It used to be, that's when I stopped driving a stick. I thought I was gonna run into part of cars because I had to use a map. When I was first in the business, right? Yeah. So I can't shift, and I mean, literally, I got my first automatic.
Wow.
It was a Ford Pinto. No, Ford Tempo.
Okay,
It was a Tempo.
I was about to say, Pinto,
Tempo.
you're a brain lady. Watch out for the explosions.
So that's a really good thing, and they don't know you've done that, so that when you get in the car and you go, I go left, rather than turn right, left, looking at.
And so do you typically, drive your clients?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes, I do. You don't have to, I mean, you can have them drive if you want them to, but I do, yes. And then I ask who wants to be my co-pilot, and I put them to work, I let them. So when I'm finished, I have completed a list and, created a sheet for both of us. I make my notes, and then I give them a clipboard, I give them the highlighter and another note and their customer copies, client copies of the listings themselves, so that they can, take notes and do their thing. Prepare and educate yourself about the homes and the demographics, be the source of information. And actually, that you want to be the source of the source, whenever possible. Determine which route to take, always showing the best homes first. That's debatable, but let's go with it for now. Arrange to meet with your buyer at your office or in front of the first home you will be touring. So that's just a geographic thing. If they're staying in Lahaina and they're showing homes in Keating, I'm not gonna drive to Lahaina to bring them here, I'm gonna have them meet me here, just regular. Print out 2 detailed MLS information sheets for each property you plan to tour with your buyer. Again, I recommend the agent and client. Place the MLS information sheets in the order you will tour the properties, and include a home tour checklist. So, they have a checklist in here which is really good. I find they don't get into the nitty gritty, they just make notes and stuff, and then later on they can sit, and compare. I'm just gonna tell you. Oh, I do number them, and so then, if they get out of order, it's not a problem. So once I figured out how the tour is gonna go, I number them, and then I staple that together, and so now that is house number 1 or house number 3 until we've named it. Okay. Make a copy of the 5 must-have sheets that was filled out during the buyer consultation and include it. So, just give them extra information so that when they go home and sit down and discuss it, or they go back to the office and discuss it with you, we can, start to make that, good stuff, bad stuff list, and I'm trying to understand. One of the most important parts of preparing your buyers to evaluate the home is to help them understand the things they should look past, like purple and pink rooms, like that house, or stuff like that. Some people have vision, some people do not. There's no question. That's why I always tell them, hey, it's not always easy, but if you have vision, you're gonna have a real advantage in this market, in any market. And the reason is this: if 10 people see that house that we just saw with all the different colors, there are gonna be people that can't get past that. They just can't get past that. Whereas if you can close your eyes and imagine the bones of this house, all beige, with a couple accent walls or whatever. Right?
It's also, I think, good to understand, I know it's not what we focus on, but it's good to understand what the cost to change those things would be, right? So when you get a $1.8 million house, let's not get so caught up in the details. That could be a $20,000 alteration of what you got for it, right?
Yeah,
When
it's all relative.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree, yeah, that's right.
Something like, is that a load bearing wall or whatever, like that's some altered stuff.
Yeah, and again, you're gonna wait for inspection so that they can share with you. I don't offer any information in that way, because if I'm wrong, is a weight bearing wall and they can't accomplish what they want, I'm gonna be on their poop list.
What did they buy?
Sign here, press hard, there's 3 copies.
I love that line, I actually stole that
In
from
the old
you.
days?
No,
I know.
3 copies, I like that. Press hard.
If their dislikes are things like the yard size or structure of the home, things that cannot be easily changed, then ask them, is this a deal breaker? You've told me that you would love a bunch of fruit trees. This is like a perfect house. You're just like crazy in love with this house. Gosh darn it, it has a small yard. Is this a deal breaker? And depending on how important that was, it is or isn't. If they have found the perfect home, you know, maybe they're gonna have to build a raised garden, what can we do instead? You know, if we can't quite let go of this house just because of that, you know, how else might this go
I only
together?
have 2, parking and air conditioning.
There
Those
you
are my
go.
only 2 deal breakers.
When it comes to things like wall color, lack of landscaping, then you can discuss solutions, right?
Do you find, I mean, this is what I find, but do you find that people that are buying a new home, they had issues with the old home, and so suddenly those issues become their priority, like, gotta have a kitchen desk, or I've gotta have this, you know, a homework, I have to have an island where my kids can do homework.
Depending on how strong that is.
Okay,
Again, if everything else is just right, my experience is that flies out the window and they don't care.
So,
so
What
they
I like
really
is-
don't know, they don't really know their priorities until,
They really
They're
don't know what they
presented with-
want.
Yeah,
until
until
they
presented
walk
with
into a
options.
house and have an emotional reaction and go, I love
That's
this
right.
view,
That's
I love
right.
how I feel, I gotta have this house. And it may not meet all their boxes.
But it doesn't matter, cause they're happy.
Yeah.
They're achieving
Okay.
what they wanna achieve, they just
Alright.
haven't put their finger on it, you know,
Yeah.
quite, you know,
Got it,
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
I think the point though is sometimes that question during the kind of the pre-interview, to me is what helps determine this list, right? When you find out why they're selling the last one or moving from the other one, and they say, oh, I hated the fact that, you know, I didn't have enough bedrooms, or that to me is what gives you kind of stronger confirmation as to why this
Absolutely.
list is what it is.
And nothing's more important than asking those questions and going 3 levels deep. Why
Why?
do those bedrooms matter?
Right,
Well, because blah, 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 my mom comes over and she's in a wheelchair, and you know, so they answer, okay, why is that? And they answer again, if you can, well, why is that? Because that's what really uncovers what they're looking for, and they might not even consciously be aware of that. Now, you know, I used to get frustrated, I have curly hair, it's like, I just, going in to get my hair cut, because some people don't know how to cut curly hair, and it's like, or you tell them what you want, and they do it the way they want anyway. So I'm real sensitive to that. So there are times when I will include something that really isn't, that there's something there that's not right, but because I know there's something so extraordinary about it, I show them, but at least on paper, but I make sure that they understand, hey, I heard you and I get this, so this might not be any good, but oh my gosh, I just see this as an extraordinary price or an extraordinary area, or, so I'd be remiss not to show you. We'll chalk it up to market knowledge if we need to, but, so you can take license there, I just think it's so important to make sure that they know that you did understand
Right.
it. Not that they told you they go up to 1.5 and you're showing them everything for 2 million.
Correct.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Have your buyers use the home tour checklist to guide them as to what to look at and make comments. So this home tour checklist is found in your design toolkit, and on the next page you see the actual checklist itself, but again, you can print copies. Okay. Let's see, how are we doing? It is, okay.
Wait, where's the checklist?
It is right here.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah.
So this is something they can check on?
Yeah, you can make several
Okay.
copies
That's
of that
really
for them.
nice.
Must be nice to have a big one.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet.
Thanks, Chair.
Well, again, you can go into KW, and you
Obviously.
get all this stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, you've got your nice little KW peachy folder thing, right? It says Keller Williams. You know those folders that we have?
Yeah,
Well, $1 each, but
Yeah.
10 for 10. So you're gonna set up a nice little, we're not gonna get into all that, but you will buy a packet. And that will include a few of those so that they can. So now on page 19, we're gonna tour the home. Ring the doorbell even if the home has a lockbox. So now we're out with our people and we're cruising around. If the property is occupied, ring the bell at least twice before entering. Hello, real estate agent. I usually yell out, honey, I'm home. Well, once or twice.
You're very brave.
Doesn't that kind of screen out if there's a loose dog in the house too? Because the last thing you wanna do is open the door and have some dog go after you.
That's true. That's
I know a
really true.
had a bad experience with that.
I was door knocking on Labor Day. Was that Labor Day the one that was just recently? I didn't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, Labor Day. I was door knocking on Mahoney Circle. I live on Mahoney Circle. And I got bit by a dog. Yeah, I got bit by a dog.
What?
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Right into my, yeah.
Okay, and yet another reason that I want to get going. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad the owner was right there, cause I think the next chomp broke my elbow. We just chomped right down.
Holy
And
cow.
blood and everything, yeah, it was crazy.
This is a much dental
Wow.
honey that I was looking at. Yeah, recently, 3600.
There's a couple, flag lots where you have to go in the back. I don't go there. I just, I'm not a scaredy cat.
What's that term you're using?
A flag lot.
Flag lot?
How did the dog,
I can tell you what a flag lot is.
how did the dog get to you when, did they open the door and let the dog out on you or what?
No, he was actually out in his yard and I'd been across the street. I was
Uh-huh.
doing one side of the street, but if I see a live person, I'll go over.
Yeah.
So I walked over and I'm visiting him there and he's real nice. Oh, hi, how are you doing? And then all of a sudden